So coming up now is a montage of what you can expect over the next 7 weeks.
57 miles to the gallon.
So, spacious and economical.
Going through the first corner here now.
And that is how a camshaft works.
Mate. No, there's been a bit of a mistake. That is the tape we sent to the newspapers in the hope they'd be fooled into thinking that's what we were doing. What we're actually doing is this.
Is it?
In the plums. Let's get one thing straight from the start. Formula One is better than NASCAR. It just is. If you compare them to musical instruments, F1 is a Stradivarius violin, NASCAR is banging a saucepan with a wooden spoon. Now, we all agree on that in the civilised world. Well, when I say we all agree apart from Richard J. Cheeseburger Hammond III.
Yeah. Well, I'm very pleased to be able to report that my prejudices remain completely intact. When you add the word Nurburgring to the name of a car, it's really just code for ruined, because the ride is absolutely rock hard. Oh, it's ridiculous. Oh. I mean, car makers become obsessed with making their cars go round this irrelevant historical German racetrack as fast as possible without realising that they're ruining the car for those of us who live in the real world. Ow. It's utterly hopeless.
Whoa! What the hell? Hammond! It was supposed to be a gas bottle. What the hell? You blew the wrong Caravan up.
You hit the wrong one.
I didn't hit the wrong one. That was the one we were supposed to hit.
You should have labelled it.
There is a loading bay just outside our office, which is a lot more convenient, but obviously there's no parking there. Now, I took a photograph in this loading bay this week, OK? Here it is. Now, we may recognise this car if we watch The Apprentice. It belongs to Lord Sir Sugar.
Yeah, but to be fair, his chauffeur was probably loading him into the building at the time.
Exactly.
So it could be in the loading
Technically, this was a delivery, so that's fine. More worrying is this, OK? If we zoom in. Now, right there's a little Fiat Panda parked, blocking the door, and the honest working men whose job is to deliver things to the BBC. And I'm wondering, Hammond, who has a little black Fiat Panda?
I don't know. At the BBC?
Does David Attenborough? No, he doesn't.
Paxman. Moving on.
And then in 1992, they even made a car with no steering wheel.
In actual fact, the more you drive this, the easier it becomes. The temptation is to just stare at the end of the bonnet in wonderment that you can actually have any directional control at all.
The seconds ticked by, but there was no sign of my Roe.
Where has he gone?
I don't know.
After we dragged the tax stig off the marshal, across the line. This, you just know, all they ever talked about was G. They were sitting going, how can we make it go around a corner a little bit faster with a camber?
It's a supercar.
So we give it guns. Let's give it guns. Space rockets. This, they will have had 7 years of meetings to get to that windscreen wiper.
So it works properly?
Yes.
But what's wrong with that?
Well, Lamborghini would have said, why don't we just use, like, a laser? Why don't we have lasers shooting heat onto the windscreen to get rid of it? That's why I love Lambos. They're all mental.
Have you had a lot of pop today, Jeremy? You see, according to the newspapers, more than a quarter of adults are now obese. And in just a few years' time, over 50% of the population will be absolutely enormous. So, what could a typical family of the future do to this car's performance? 320, 325. Right, so with just the Stig, it was 305 metres. With our family on board, it took an extra 177 metres, more than half as much again.
Let's just take, for an example, rounders, right? That's played by small children here. Over there, it's Babe Ruth and a religion, and then you've got netball, which here is just a lot of schoolgirls standing so you can only move one foot, and there's 4 parents watching, and over there, it's the, what is it, Harlem Globetrotters.
They are quite easily amused,
They're unbelievably easily amused, and that's why they're able to make NASCAR exciting. It's just some good old boys going round in a circle, and they go, oh, hell, I got paid to watch that. 250,000 people turn up to watch it.
Because it is a good sport. It's a great thing to watch.
Hammond, you would say that because you're an American.
Not an American! I'm not!
Hammond, you've got a Stetson, you've got cowboy boots, you've got chaps, you've got a Harley Davidson, you've got a Mustang, you'd like to get a beer, and you put cheese on everything.
I don't! I'm not American!
You have made a living out of being an American. Your Saturday night programme is a fat man falling off some foam rubber. All right, hey, we'll watch that. And they turn up in their millions.
And he has a hat on.
There was more too, because you could even buy your turbo with water injection. I don't understand that.
Well, I could explain it to you, but you're not interested.
No, I am interested.
You're not? Are you really interested?
I am interested.
OK, water injection in the inlet cools the charge and makes it denser. It's the job that was later done by the intercooler. No, you're absolutely right. The onboard footage will be the key to it, but I will be the steward, because I shall adjudicate on this.
I'm not having you judging.
What?
You can't even play a game of Monopoly without cheating.
No, you can't. You cheated at Monopoly. He did cheat at Monopoly.
You had a game of Monopoly and he
We
cheated.
played for 4 hours and you cheated.
I did not
You
cheat.
ruined the game. You made it put... You robbed the bank.
There was a bank robbery, but you don't get those in Monopoly, and I thought it would make it more authentic if the bank was robbed.
What? You stole it. So you're a cheat, a liar,
I
and
played
a burglar.
the role.
If I'm going to use a judge for this motor racing incident, I'm going to use Ofcom, because they are wise.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
And you are going to be shot in front of your family. Something it turns out you can say that on television, it turns out.
Yeah.
Just outside London, we met up at a service station to compare notes.
Is this the worst trip to work you've ever had?
No, not so far.
Mine's the most embarrassing.
If you were going to work today to a factory that you own to lay off all of your stuff, my car would not be the car to make that journey in. Or think, I'm going to have to tell that patient the news is not good.
Or if you were a funeral director.
No, none of this.
I'm very sorry about
You'd
your
have
loss.
So, it's driven by electric motors, but it has its own on-board power station.
And you might be thinking, you've sort of heard something a bit like that before. Well, you have.
Yes, I'm talking about the Hammerhead Eagle eye thrust, which, I might point out, was also fitted with its own electricity generator. And that was 2 years ago.
There's no polite way of putting this. Fisker have very blatantly, brazenly, I'd say, copied my idea for a long-range electric car. Except they didn't have theirs styled by Jeremy, but the technology is exactly the same. As my lawyers will be making very clear quite soon.
Did you go into 5th gear? You went into 5th, didn't you? I said, don't go into 5th, it'll just become rear-wheel drive, and then this'll happen. Hammond,
Yes.
blood type,
Yes.
red.
Well, it is. It's red. I've checked. Stuck a pin in it. B?
B minus. I don't know what I am.
That's an exam result.
I just made it up.
Just a letter.
It's what I'm used to seeing on
Well,
film.
I wasn't sure, so I've put A, B plus, because that way I get the lot, so one of them will be right.
As you can see, obviously I put stickers on mine.
Yeah, where did you...
Well, it's the BBC, and you have to have stickers on a racing car.
Fragile roof?
I know, but the
Really?
BBC doesn't allow brand names, does it? So I put health and safety notices all over it, because that's what the BBC likes. Hey, the news. There was a man in the papers this week who has failed his driving theory test 92 times. 92?
I don't want to be rude, but he must be an idiot. I mean, really,
Well, now,
90...
interestingly, you say that. Have you seen the theory test?
Well, I didn't have to do one.
No, has anyone here, have you seen the theory test? Anybody? Yeah. You have? Because most people, I think, of our age haven't. And none of the questions have got anything to do, as far as I can work out, with driving. And can I give you some examples, right? You can answer this. An elderly person's ability could be affected because they may be unable to...
Eat toffees.
No.
Get an erection.
Wear jeans.
That's what I mean. Where's the safest place to park your vehicle at night?
In a police station.
My right hand is completely frozen. It's just a claw. Also, there are holes in the floor behind the pedals. And all the air and the wind and the rain is going up my trouser legs. Also, rain is running off my jacket into my lap. None of these things are good news for my genitalia, which has run away.
Maserati say that unlike any other big 4x4, it has a luxury atmosphere. Because, you know, every time I get in a Range Rover, I always think, oh, no, I've accidentally got into a cowshed.
Yeah.
And then they say there are no off-roaders that give a sporty feel.
Well, what about the Porsche Cayenne? Or the Mercedes ML63?
BMW X5.
Exactly.
All of that.
Yeah, I think Maserati, they're the sort of company that go, you know, we've invented a new type of watch, and what makes it really good is you can wear it on your wrist.
This is quite awkward, isn't it? Because somebody's going to have to tell them, hey, Maserati, it's been done. It's actually there.
Yeah, I'm not going to... What I love about this, though, is it's called the Kubang, right? Which, being a Maserati, is the noise it will make the day the warranty runs out. Actually, while we're on the subject, did you see that case recently? A woman who was stopped by the police after they caught her driving down a motorway while causing herself to have pleasure.
And I bet you can't drive in a sleeping bag. Actually, I'm not sure. Actually, I'm going to take that back. I think you could drive in a... If you...
You couldn't drive in a sleeping bag.
I bet I could.
You can't.
I bet I could drive in a sleep...
There you go. Right, you're wrong. Sometime this week, before next week's show, I'll take you on around the track. You drive in a proper cocoon sleeping with your arms in it.
Yeah.
And race me, and I'll sew a button on my shirt.
Oh, let me guess, I've got to drive whilst performing an act on myself.
I'm speaking to you now from behind a pair of fake Ray-Bans, wearing a fake Armani jacket, carrying a fake Louis Vuitton bag, in which we find a fake iPad and a fake iPhone. And if we consult my fake Omega, we see that it's 25 to 3, probably, which means it's time to pop into the fake Starbucks over there for a cup of fake coffee. It seems then that the expression copyright infringement doesn't translate terribly well into Mandarin. What do you mean, a Le Mans start?
Well, on go, we run to our cars, jump in, start them, and drive off.
Running? It's not a school sports day. You have an egg and a spoon.
Look, it's 2 against 1. Just be ready for it, OK? 3,
I hate
2,
running.
1, go.
This is just stupid! We could have been finished by now. Hammond has already begun.
See the torque now, the mighty 1.9 litre V-twin.
Sadly, my elderly colleagues were struggling to even get going.
Very complicated starting procedure, this. Mode.
Eventually, James was belted in place, a bit too tightly as it turned out.
Oh, bloody hell.
Why won't you start? Stop saying ready to race.
Just let me just think a minute. Sorry. When something goes wrong with my car, Richard Hammond always...
Helps you.
No,
The opposite of that.
He
No, he just gets in his car and
drives
drives
off. You're right.
Yes.
Let's do that.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. We were leaving Hammond 200 miles away from Rome, and that made us feel quite sorry for him. In 2 months he's been looking forward to driving his Noble right across Italy, and he's only gone 30 miles.
Morning. Have you got an iced finger?
There are many regulations, as you would imagine, this being Britain, governing the use of mobility scooters, and this meets almost all of them. I'm good for width, I'm good for length, I'm good for speed, but I do have a problem with weight, and so does my scooter. Excuse me. Would it be... I hate to do this, because I'm trying to get down there and it's a bit stuck. I'm so sorry.
Sorry. It's not quite as easy as it looks. And again, sorry. Bye.
Bye.
Well, policeman, got to be careful of the speed limit. I'm only allowed to do 4 miles an hour in built-up areas. That's more than 4.
Feel the speed! The speed! 4 miles an hour, officer.
You look really uncomfortable in them.
Well, it's my first time.
Yeah, but there you go.
Yeah, I have
the
done
first time
that
you
a few
get in
times,
one, your feet
yeah.
are going like this all the time, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's all on this. All on this little
Yeah,
wizard's
that's right.
hat thing.
Just down there. Come on! Yeah, all right, then. Come on. Okay. Mind out. 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, come on! That's all I got!
This person likes Audis. This one likes Ferraris. This one likes the bus. This one has a Honda. He has a Peugeot. And then you have this chap with the black polo neck and the thin specs. He's an architect, and he likes Saabs.
What we're now going to do, and this is quite cool really, is turn onto the Via Appia, the ancient Roman road. And the suspension with its no anti-roll bars and its intelligent computer is doing quite well. Excellently, in fact.
Why is nobody using that middle bit? Yes! That's the ticket!
Ah, now you see, I didn't actually think it would get quite that Roman. I'm going to be overtaken by a Spark car.
By this stage, I'd worked out why no one was using the middle bit. I've got myself on a railway line. Now what am I going to do? Sorry. Yeah, now I'm basically going down a... Yes, I'm now driving down a railway embankment, you can see from the graphite. This tripod is the XF150ZK-4, and naturally we couldn't wait to try it. Right. Well, you see where the... Ah! God! James! On the plus side, we now knew where the engine was. Information that came in handy about 20 seconds later. Come on! After some local bodging, we were back in and on our way. Wow! No, that's reverse. Wait. That's gone into naught, fifth, second. No, God.
First, that was it.
Oh, no, it was... No, fifth.
Fourth.
Third.
It's going to look very funny from the outside there. Very next second.
Exciting because there is a new Morgan, and after an absence of 10 years, they have revived their legendary +8 name. They've made a new one. I've got a picture. Here it is. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
God. Morgan don't have a styling department, do they? They've just got a photocopier.
It's not like a normal photocopier. You know, normally you put your piece of paper on and you select the size.
Yeah.
On Morgan's, you select the year. Anything from 1931 to 1939.
No, look, shut up. This is an all-new car. It's got the classic body shape, yes, but it's got a 4.8-litre BMW V8 in there. It'll be good for 60, probably in under 4 seconds, something like that. It's going to be the fastest accelerating Morgan they've made ever in like...
Wow!
It's exciting!
Do you have to buy the petrol with those ration coupons?
No,
that they
shut
have?
up. It's actually very modern. It's got a bonded aluminium chassis, and the aluminium body is super formed. It's very high-tech. What?
How many guineas is it?
It's £85,000. It's very modern and high-tech under there, and I want one of those very much indeed. It's fantastic.
Well, you can't have one, Hammond. There's a war on.
Oh, for God's sake.
have to melt it down to make Spitfires out.
Shut up, it's exciting and I want one.
Oh, what?
Before we go on, is that actually a supercharger?
No, that's an oil cooler made to look like a supercharger, so it looks like a blower Bentley.
So this isn't a supercharged engine?
No, it isn't.
But a Spitfire's Merlin was supercharged.
I know, but this one isn't.
So that's technically the Meteor, which was the same engine, but the land-based version. Which
Yes.
is the unsupercharged.
Yes.
And this, obviously, the Bentley...
Yes, I'm sorry, James. Once again, we don't have time for your lecture on all aeroplanes since 1941.
All right, lads. Welcome. Right on, mate. Well done. Well done. It's just me.
Meanwhile, far, far away.
Now, look at this. It's a 17th century pub. And look at that step there. Now, if you're in a normal, conventional electric wheelchair, that would be game over and no pint. But now, watch this. Full power. Oh, hang on, hang on. Oh, cock.
Still, could be worse.
Fenton! 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 Oh, Jesus Christ! Hammond and I went to Moscow last weekend. It wasn't a honeymoon thing.
No, more of a spur of the minute thing. We just
We
thought we
weren't
would.
hand-holding or anything like that, OK? There was some ice skating going on in Red Square. We thought we'd go and have a look at this. But there was the only gap in the fence where you could see Audi, as a sort of marketing league, had parked a Q3 there, so we couldn't see. So it's never mind. Somebody told us about this bar, OK? It's a 12th-storey bar, and it overlooked the Kremlin and Red Square and Basil's, and we thought, well, we'll go there, big picture windows, and have a look at the view. So we went flogged all the way over there, climbed at the top. Now, Hammond took a picture of the view we had. Here it is. There was another... You could actually see the bits of the Kremlin, but mostly you could just see the stupid Audi Q3.
I hadn't gone to see that. Somebody at Audi has obviously thought, well, all these people are going to these places to look at things, so let's have them look at our cars and just put them...
Yeah, you are not joking. You are not joking. I've got a photograph here of the Players' Tunnel at Old Trafford. There you go. Giggs and Pearson, or whatever his name is, that Ginger.
Well, you can't see him because there's an Audi in the way.
Exactly. I've got another picture here of the Grand Canyon. These are real pictures.
It's not just cars either. Fancy having a look at the Sydney Opera House? Well, here it is. Oh, no, you can't see it.
Parked our boat in front of it. And what worries me is how many views there are in the world that they could still ruin. Here's the Taj Mahal.
I've always fancied seeing the pyramids, but you can't.
There they are. Or the scene from Basic Instinct. There you go.
Once again, an Audi in the way of what you actually want to see.
Do you know I had my first proper road accident in one of these? Not driving. I was a passenger here on this side. It was I was only 17. It belonged to my girlfriend's dad, and it was quite a rare car then. And it was lovely. It was white with a blue stripe on the side, and the interior was this sort of brick red, dusty colour. And it was a really, really nice car. We went round a roundabout, and a car coming up the road didn't stop. T-boned us right here. I was perfectly okay.
Well, you would be in a Saab.
Yeah.
So what was the girl called?
Kate? No.
What, you can remember the Saab had brick red upholstery and it had a blue stripe, and where you were sitting, but you can't remember the name of your girlfriend?
The girlfriend's become...
Was she called Derek?
Oh dear. Prepare to look at shoes.
This is my special face, reserved for continental policemen.
Okay. Yeah. Still, it is under 4 hours to Rome. Just.
Le telecamere, guarda quelle
No,
che
the only problem for them is because today is holiday in Italy.
Interestingly, their only real concern is that we appear to be working on a Sunday, and we need a permit for that. That's why Italy's nearly bankrupt. Eventually, they told us we had to stop working, so we went into Rome for a lovely dinner.
Good news, chaps.
No, what?
There's a new Dacia, and I've got a... Thank you, I've got a picture of it. Here it is, it's called the Logi.
Oh, that's a looker, isn't it?
Anyway, moving on. Whiplash is a charter for fraudsters.
I know what you mean.
No, we all know this, OK? Because you have a car accident, you go, oh, I've got whiplash, and then you rate the other motorist's insurance policy, and you get benefits for the rest of your life. Now, the government has said that this has to stop. So, they have announced, the government, right, that if the impact speed is less than 6.25 miles an hour, you can't have whiplash.
6.25.
6.25.
But then they're also saying if it's like 6.5, you could get
Yeah.
whiplash at that speed. You
Yeah.
can do that speed sitting down quickly. Look, I'm doing about 6.5, I've got whiplash. I'll just sue him.
It should be 63 miles an hour.
But
That would be a
at least-
reasonable speed.
The question should be, is your car absolutely and entirely wrecked? Is it crumpled like a discarded crisp bag, in which case you might have got.
Has the boot lid badge been stencilled onto your own spine? Well, then you've got whiplash.
Could be.
No, it's not. It's can you actually look up your own arse now? 'Cause if you can, then you've possibly got some whiplash.
It could be.
Honestly, I really do genuinely believe this. People who claim they've got whiplash when they haven't, I don't believe in capital punishment, but they should be shot.
Really?
Where would you shoot them?
In the head.
No, I mean, I meant more sort of geographically.
Yeah.
Where would you shoot them?
Oh, God.
On there.
I set off in one of the world's rarest cars, already starting to wish that Chris had said no.
Right, there is a car coming. It's a long way off, but this could cut out. You never know. It's an old car. So let's just hold back. Go, go, go. Right, I'm on real roads with real cars. Those people might be trying to send a text. Those people over there may have been drinking. This is a fantastic moment in my driving life, but it is rather being spoiled by the thought of £5.6 million. It's a bit like being given an original Rembrandt and then being told to take it down the pub on Friday night.
Oh, watch this. Oh, no! No, I've got it back.
No, he's lost it.
I've broken something. Sod it.
We must not laugh
No.
when it gets back.
How bad is it?
I suppose just that the wing's on the wheel. You just pull the wing off the wheel.
suspension's collapsed.
Well, every time I braked, it just
James?
veered off.
Do you know that momentarily you were in second place?
Yeah, I know.
You were third
It was
for a long time.
extremely exciting.
What is the worst thing in the world?
Trying on trousers.
No, he's right. Actually, you're right. Trying on trousers is the worst thing in the world. But the second worst thing in the world is when you're going on a journey somewhere and someone in the car says, do you mind if we stop for some reason? Oh, look, there's an ancient monument. You think, I don't want to go and look at an ancient monument, but I want to go and look at my friends we're going to see, I haven't seen for 5 years.
No, you're absolutely right, because there are some people who they stop on the journey at a motorway services to play a fruit machine.
No, it's worse than that. There's people who say, I need to stretch my legs. If you're Alec Guinness and you've been in a box in a Japanese prisoner of war camp for 6 months, yes, you need to stretch your legs, but after 30 miles in a car, you don't.
But it's when people say they need to stop to eat. I've got to stop to eat. Why? I can't imagine a journey long enough that means you are going to need refuelling. It's not.
Well, if you were driving from Cairo to Khartoum...
Yes, but not if in Britain. If you're going from Leicester to Birmingham, you don't need food. You're not going to starve in that time.
No, and I'm glad you brought this up, because this is where I'm going, OK? Because one of the places I could never understand why people stopped at was Little Chef. Yes. Because what they did... No, really. What they did was they took ingredients and then ruined them.
I can let you know that I once stopped at a Little Chef very early in the morning and I said, could I have an omelette? And the woman said, no, I'm sorry, sir, the powder hasn't arrived yet.
That's not a good sign, is it?
I once dropped a sausage from my plate in Little Chef and it bounced. It's out of old squash balls. Now, the other day we heard that they'd shut, getting on for half their outlets, as it were. And we weren't the slightest bit surprised. But the other day we stopped at one that was still open. And I went in, and the guy said, he gave me this paper cup, and he said, it's a casserole mash. Now, I thought, that's just going to be bits of placenta...
Oh, God.
...garnished with the chef's bodily fluids.
Nice.
Second nicest thing I've ever put in my mouth.
Second.
And normally, of course, that would be that. But because it's the end of the series, we've got a bit of a treat for you.
Oh, have we ever? Because to play us out with his version of Jessica, Slash is back!
Tell you what, he's a lot better at that than he is at driving.
He's quicker.